all these guys together and sorting out who starts where and what's going on. So give us an update. Who's where?
Well, it's a similar sort of order to the way they were yesterday afternoon. We've closed the gap up a bit, so Foggy will still have to fight his way through. The third group is a group of 7 cars going off at once, so they'll be, tussling to get to the corner first and get through. So hopefully they get through unscathed. Yesterday, there's one guy missing. Tin Man's not there. He had a oil line come off under the bonnet. You would have seen all the smoke coming out yesterday.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, he took the car away, had a look at it, had some filings from valve train and that because it wasn't feeding the top of the motor. And, it's better to pull the whole motor apart and put it back together, and a lot of oil over the clutch as well. So
it's Dr. John who's starting in a all off, is it?
Yeah.
In the number 13 at the front. And as you point out, Angus Fogg, the championship leader and the man who has been dominant. He got a 15-second win in the first race of the weekend and came through to 6th yesterday, and now has to do it all again. As away goes Elliott, and now, as you say, basically a flag start, your handicap. And let's just explain that. Everybody tries to get into a situation where they should bunch up by the end of the race, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's all done off the first race and the qualifying times, and we mix them together, merge them together, and then off those times. And then if someone breaks out of their time, goes faster than their actual time they've qualified or done in the first race, then we adjust it and they either go forward or backwards down the pack.
Now, if you have a safety car, as we had in a previous race, which was handicap, it changes everything again because everybody bunches back up again. Yeah, and also, like, when there's a restart with a safety car with the faster guys off the back, it makes it harder for the faster guys, but also they're rushing through, and the slower guys at the front, they've got to watch out for the cars coming through and their mirrors, check their mirrors and that sort of thing, because they come through like, bull at a gate sort of stuff. Well, as they say in Texas, we're getting it on right now in the muscle cars. Here we go. John Elliott leads at the moment, but everybody now will try to close him down as quickly as they can. We really let these muscle cars stretch their legs down this back straight. What kind of speeds are we getting up to? Oh, they'll probably get up to 280, 300 Ks sort of thing, wow, roughly. The faster guys, the slower guys, 240, 260. So, the slower guys are still up there in speed-wise. Yeah, I bet it gets pretty hot in there too. I mean, there's no modern gizmos. Oh no, there's no cool suits or air conditioning. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's a good workout. Probably lose a few pounds doing a few laps around here. Yeah, it's like being in a sauna, really. I've been for riding a couple of them, and yeah, it does get really hot in the cockpit there for them. A really exciting sauna. So they start to cross the line, and we're starting to get some order to this, but it's John Elliott who moved away first on the number 13 at the moment. Cam Crawford in the 98 in second place, and Bruce Kett, who had a win last time out in the number 41, he's equal at the moment. And then in third place, then it's Andrew Turner, Andrew Sinclair in Group 2. Here's your leader, Dr. John. That's the second time out for the car. He obviously took it to Bathurst, raced it there, and he's brought it back he's been out of the class for a couple of years and brought this new car back to the field. Kiwis had a good showing in Bathurst. Oh, they did. You upset the Aussies. You can't do that on their home track. Yeah, well, you look at the speeds they were doing down Conrod Straight. They were going faster than the supercars, which is, and these things don't handle as well and don't brake as well. So, they're right on the edge. Good fraternity here. What's it like in Australia? Because I've been talking to some of the guys here. They have a lot of fun, and it just looks as though they really enjoy every moment of their racing. Yeah, well, TCM's a big class like us as well, and also, like when you get both classes together, you get a field of 50 cars. It's like the old days when Bathurst used to start round the corner and back up the hill. It's good to watch. You've got to build in a time during the day where you can get all the old stories out. I bet the bar at night's perfect. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of old stories. There's a bit of banter down in the pits with the guys there. They're, some of them are arguing, some of them are, winding each other up sort of thing. Well, at the moment, Bruce Anderson winding Steve Ross up here as he bounces over the curves, but these two going at it. Good battle here between these two. Shane Holland also looking for a good result. There's Fogg, but Shane in Group 2. We've got two groups. If you're joining us for the first time live here on Sky Sport, under braking the 17, almost loses it. Big moment there for Bruce Anderson. He almost clanked into the back of the number 66, Steve Ross, and that would have been a bit of a surprise if he had, but he made it and managed to gather it all together.
Yeah, that's a similar car to what Bruce used to run down in Wellington Street Race, you know, back in the day with Dick Johnson and those guys running around the track. So, you know, there's a bit of history with the family and Dick Johnson, and, you know, it's good to see him back out there.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful car, and like all of these cars are so well prepared. And we're looking at, well, you know, you've got cars that go back to 1968, mostly 70s, late 70s. We've got some Ford Falcons, we've got some Holdens out there, and of course, Camaros and Mustangs. And here comes the Mustang of championship leader Angus Fogg, having a ball of a day yesterday.
Yeah, he might have a bit of a battle on his hands here, getting past John Midgley. John Midgley's he hasn't raced the car for probably a year now, and he's just got it back out of the shed. It's a good-looking Falcon there, so, and it is a very quick car, and he does a lot of work in a Super Tourer as well, with Enduros and stuff like that.
Angus Fogg on his third year of racing in the Central Muscle cars and really enjoying it. He's raced all forms of New Zealand motorsport. A really good peddler, has done everything, and I think got a lot of respect amongst the crowd here, and he showed them what he got with a 15-second win yesterday. But it's great to have this group of really experienced racers. The truth is, you can't be a novice driving one of these cars. These cars can bite. Yes, they're muscle cars. Yes, they don't have all the gizmos and tricks. But I'll tell you what, that makes it harder to drive them, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. You know, they haven't got, you know, traction control or anything like that. You've got to feather the throttle. And in the wet, it's a lot harder to drive as well, because they're so, you know, so they come onto the cam and, you know, accelerate so quickly, and, you know,
Fogg takes to the grass for a second and then comes back on, and you're right, he's starting to struggle now a little bit as the cars that he's coming up on are getting faster and faster, and so it's getting harder and harder for Fogg to make up the places. At the moment, though, Elliott still leads from Crawford. Doherty's now up to third. Kett is fourth. Turner, Sinclair, Hopkins, Boyden, then Ross, Holland, Anderson, Neuer. Honor. Fogg is in 14th position. That's the battle we're watching. He's just got past Midgley. We go a little bit further back. There's Midgley just behind him, but he's coming up on the 4.29 of Greg Honor.
That's what these reverse grids are about, you know, like, it gives everyone an opportunity to have a win. You know, and you can see this is a totally different race to yesterday.
Yeah.
And, you know, the actual format is not too much different. It's just the luck of the start, the way, you know, the way they can pick their way through the traffic and stuff like that. They have a lucky break, or they get held up behind someone, and it, you know.
We've got a quick glimpse there of Steve Neuer's car. What can you tell me about that, the 167? It's beautifully prepared, and Foggy's just gone past it, but that, to me, looks like a classic. I took a picture of it yesterday, and it just looks beautiful. Yeah,
well, it's a replica of a Shelby Mustang, and obviously he's in the Group 2 cars, which you're not supposed to have modified panels or anything like that, but because it's a Shelby replica, he can run fiberglass panels on the front, as they originally did back when they were built out of the, you know, out of the showroom.
And if you don't know who Carroll Shelby is, go to your cinema. There's a good film about it, and it stars Matt Damon. What else could go wrong? I mean, it's perfect.
Exactly. I haven't been to see it myself yet.
It's a good movie. I've seen it, and I think it's well worth a look. And it tells the story of, you know, exactly Ferrari against Ford in those classic days of Le Mans, but Carroll Shelby very much a part of it. And Toto were a couple of Kiwis, lest we forget, Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon. Number 5, still in the mix, Andrew Turner. He's up to 4th place. This is the battle we're watching, and it's still Elliott out front, but for how long, you can see he's losing out already, and so they're starting to engulf him, quite literally. So we're going to have a change at the front. They've already got him now. Here's our new leader, crossing the line now. That's Steve Doherty in the number 87.
Yeah, that's a Group 1 car, obviously powered by NASCAR as well. You know, it's a very quick car.
It's a 67 Chevrolet Camaro, and much difference between the late 60s and early 70s or not?
Oh, I'd say there's a lot of difference, really. The 71's a lot different, really.
So Fogg still trying to carve his way through. Elliott dropping back now, having led early on, but of course he took the flag and got the flag drop before anybody else. So now we're starting to see the nitty-gritty of this on lap 6 of 7.
It all coming up on Cam Crawford, which is the heaviest car in the group.
Yeah, Cam Crawford at the moment trying to hold on to 2nd place, but for how long? I think it's a matter of seconds as they're literally queuing up. Foggy making another place up. Angus Fogg in the black and gold. It's a lovely looking car, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Crawford hanging on for dear life here. Turner behind him, Hopkins, then Ross. Kett, who won the race yesterday in 6th position, then Sinclair, Anderson, Elliott in 9th now, Fogg in the top 10 already. And as they head down towards the last lap, here we go.
Steve Ross has just made a move on Cam Crawford.
I love this first turn at Pukekohe because it's bumpy and you really see how fast they're pushing it into the complex, and then really getting an important drive out of this corner to get onto the back straight, because if you do that in the 66, you'll just play into Angus Fogg's hands, and that's exactly what he done. Did a little bit too hot there in the 66, the Stephen Fox car. Steve Fox getting very wide and high there, but through goes Fogg. Closing stages of this one then, the final lap of the Central Muscle Cars, their 3rd race of the weekend. They'll be out again in action later today. How do you run the handicap for the last one?
It's just a scratch race, so the fastest times that are done over the weekend, we're just putting them in order. So Angus will probably start off the front, I would think, and then all the rest follow behind.
Well, we could get another exhibition from Angus Fogg if that's the case, but at the moment it's Doherty leading the way. Here he is coming out to complete the last lap in the number 87. He comes out of the last corner and down the main straight here, down the mountain and onto the main straight to take the checkered flag and win the 3rd race of the weekend here for the Central Muscle Cars, the NZ Central Muscle Cars. Everybody filing through now. 2nd place goes to Fogg. A great run from the back to 2nd place. Steve Ross takes 3rd. Andrew Turner is 4th. Clark Hopkins takes 5th place, then it's Cam Crawford who led for a while, then Bruce Anderson 7th, and John Midgley rounds out the top 8. So good racing throughout, and that's a great race again. Confirmation of the results: Steve Doherty, Angus Fogg, Steve Ross, your top 3, then Andrew Turner, Hopkins, Crawford, Anderson, Midgley, Kett, and Sinclair. That rounds out the top 10 here for the 3rd race of the NZ Central Muscle Cars.